So you're thinking about launching your own independent pharmacy. That is a huge decision, one of the biggest of your career. And right at the beginning, you're going to face a critical question. Who do you actually trust to guide you through this thing?
Yeah, and this quote just hits it right on the head. Opening a pharmacy looks neat on a checklist, but feels completely different when it is your name, your license, your lease, and your bank account on the line. This isn't just some project, right? It's deeply personal. The stakes are incredibly high. And honestly, the right guidance changes everything.
Okay, so let's dive in. When you start looking for help, you're pretty much going to find two kinds of people, two main guides. You've got the seasoned pharmacy owner who's really been in the trenches, and then you have the turnkey consultant who specializes in the whole launch process.
So what's the real difference here? Well, think of it this way. The experienced owner, they've lived it. The full, messy, unvarnished reality of running the business day in and day out. And then you have the turnkey consultant. Their whole thing is having a proven system, a repeatable plan for helping people just like you get their doors open. One is all about lived experience, the other is all about process.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how their different backgrounds completely change what they teach you. It's not just about the information itself, but the whole perspective behind it. Let's kick things off with the owner.
An owner's advice comes from a really simple place. An experienced pharmacy owner teaches from consequences, not theory. I mean, these are people who've had to make payroll when the bank account was looking scary. They've dealt with surprise audits, inventory that won't move, all the daily grind. Their advice isn't from a textbook. It's forged in the fire of reality. And this is what it really looks like in practice, right? A launch isn't just following steps 1, 2, 3. It's a constant series of tough judgment calls. Do you spend the money now, or do you wait? Do you hire that tech early or try to delay? An owner helps you learn to navigate these trade-offs because they've had to make these exact same calls under pressure with their own money on the line.
And this gets to the heart of it, really. There's this huge gap between the blueprint, the plan on paper, and the actual day-to-day reality of running a pharmacy. And this is where these two guides really start to look different. Look, a consultant's blueprint, it's fantastic for getting you open. No doubt about it. It's all about the setup, getting your licenses, lining up vendors, tackling PBM contracting. But an owner, their entire focus is on what happens after that grand opening sign goes up. It's about workflow when the phones are blowing up, managing inventory so it doesn't eat all your cash, and building that rock-solid patient trust from the very first day.
You know, you can see this difference in focus so clearly in the kinds of questions they ask you. I mean, it's a dead giveaway about what they really think is important for you to survive and thrive.
I mean, just look at this. It says it all. Your consultant is going to ask, hey, are we on track with licensing? Got those vendors lined up? It's a project management question. But an owner who's thinking about survival is going to ask you something totally different, like, okay, how long can you actually survive if your insurance reimbursements are 60 days late? See the difference? One is about the plan, the other is about what happens when the plan gets punched in the face.
So all of this really boils down to one thing. How do they define success? I mean, what does winning even look like to them? Their definition tells you everything about their philosophy.
For the consultant, success is pretty straightforward. It's the launch. Did you open on time, on budget? It's a project milestone. You check the box and you're done. But for an owner, wow, success is a totally different ballgame. It's about long-term sustainability, right? Can you actually pay yourself a salary? Are your patients happy and coming back? Are you growing without just creating total chaos for yourself? One's a finish line. The other is just the start of the marathon.
All right, let's really get into the nitty-gritty here, the pros and cons. Let's start with the experienced owner. The pros? They've got that street cred, you know? They teach judgment, they teach triage, and they're going to warn you about all the hidden costs no one else talks about. But on the flip side, their experience might be a little too specific to their own pharmacy. They might only know their way of doing things, and they probably won't have those slick project management templates. Okay, now let's flip it and look at the turnkey consultant. Their strengths are obvious. They have the structure, the templates, they've seen this movie before, so they have pattern recognition. They keep the project moving. But, and this is a big but, they don't have any personal skin in the game. They're optimizing to get you open, not necessarily to help you own the business for the long haul. Their job is tied to deliverables, not your long-term success.
So, where does that leave you? It sounds like you're stuck, right? You have to choose between that hard-won wisdom and a clean, structured process. But what if that's a false choice? What if there's a better way? Well, it turns out the best model, the strongest one, isn't about picking one or the other. It's about bringing them together. It's owner-led education, but supported by consultant-grade structure. You really can't get the best of both worlds.
So here's what that actually looks like. Step 1, you start with owner-led teaching. This is where you get the truth about the business, the real risks, the deep operational knowledge you can't get anywhere else. And then step 2, you back that up with consultant-grade structure. You use their templates, their tools, their checklists to stay organized and actually execute the plan efficiently. It's wisdom, but with a process.
Because at the end of the day, this isn't about just checking boxes off a project plan. And this final thought really puts it perfectly. The choice of who guides you, it's the difference between launching a location and building a life. So the real question for you is, what are you trying to build?